welcome to On the Spot. I'm your host, Rich Gallup. Joining me is, of course, Ryan McDonald and Greg Solomon, fresh back from Las Vegas. Where were you guys?
We're at DICE.
Where are you? What's DICE?
Design, innovate, create, and entertain.
Well, before you give everything away,
that's right.
Let's talk about what kind of great show we have today.
We got an awesome show.
Last week, we gave away 6 collector's editions of World of Warcraft. We'll be announcing those winners later on the show. But today, Nintendo Mania.
That's right.
Nintendo Mania. We're going to be playing 4 Nintendo games.
It's crazy talk.
Fight Night Round 2, we'll be showing off Super Punch-Out.
Right on.
Mortal Kombat Deception, showing off Goro and Shao Kahn. We'll see if I can hold my own against you.
All right.
On the DS, we'll be playing some Yoshi Touch and Go. Ricardo will be here for that.
Fantastic.
And finally, Star Fox Assault.
We got a whole bunch more besides that, though, don't we?
We do. We'll also be giving away a bunch of Nintendo stuff. Right here, look. Oh, what's this? It's a Nintendo DS. Oh, we're giving that away. And 3 games for it. We got Driller Spirits, Mr. Driller, Driller Spirits, Field of Magic, and Super Mario 64 DS. Those are going out.
I see 3 copies of Resident Evil 4 over there.
You see 3 copies of Resident Evil 4 there because we're giving away 3 copies of Resident Evil 4, and we'll be giving away 3 copies of Star Fox Assault, all later on in the show.
That's awesome.
That's great. Before we move on to Nintendo, though, there was some big news today, Ryan,
yes, sir.
In regards to another company. What's going on?
Sony finally dropped the bomb. They finally gave a date, March 24th, and a price, $249 for the PSP. That's what they're saying, right?
Yep.
And
they're saying they're going to sell 1 million of those things, I think, in a week.
And that's crazy. And everybody that gets one of those million gets, what, Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, apparently a copy of Spider-Man 2, the movie, on the UMD format. So.
And also Spider-Man 2, the game, is listed as one of the 24 launch titles. That's coming out from Activision. Activision will also have at launch Tony Hawk's Underground 2 Remix. A whole bunch of other games are coming out. EA's launching 6 different sports games, if you count Need for Speed as a sports game. They have FIFA, MVP Baseball, NFL Street, Tiger Woods. Ubisoft's got Luminous, Metal Gear Acid.
I can't wait. I want to play Twisted Metal head on. That's what I got to get my hands on.
That game looked good. And also, Sony is coming out with a couple sports games of their own. They got a Gretzky NHL, a game they're just calling MLB. I'm assuming that's baseball. A game they're just calling NBA. All kinds of great stuff. Capcom has Darkstalkers.
Yeah, Ubisoft's got Luminous. You were just talking about how awesome that game is. We were talking about on the trip from DICE. You got Metal Gear Acid from Konami, Rengoku Tower Purgatory. All kinds of good stuff.
All kinds of good stuff. Now, a lot of people are asking, we've already gotten a lot of questions in, and I want everyone to send in their questions right now. What are these games going to cost? Do we know yet?
They're saying they're going to cost, well, I don't have the article.
50, right?
Yeah, so they're games, as Jeff Gerstmann put it earlier today. They're, you're not going to be seeing this stuff at the $19 price point.
No.
And in fact, this might segue nicely into the DICE conversation, but one of the things that a Sony rep was saying in one of the DICE kind of conferences is that Sony is really apparently going to dig in its heels about the whole pricing thing. It seems like the developer and publisher community is actually pretty concerned about how cheap games are getting. So that's bad news for you, getting away with paying $20 for ESPN. That's kind of how the industry seems to see it. Basically, the situation is games are getting more expensive to produce, but the industry is making less money off of them, so that's not very good business. So you're going to have to foot that bill for the next Metal Gear game with crazy cutscenes and Ocelot swinging his revolvers around for 30 minutes, costing millions of dollars to produce something like that. So,
well, one of the other things that actually ties into that is what Mark Echo, when we did that interview with him, he also was talking about, some people were talking, we get questions like advertising in games, was that's voodoo craziness, right? But he was talking about it, he said it's just it's economics 101, right? These games cost a certain amount of money, and you got to have that money to pay for it. So if you're not an EA, if you're a small developer, that's one of the ways that you can bring in money to help you make bigger, cooler games is to have, at least he was talking about tasteful advertising within the game.
Well, since we are segueing so nicely into the DICE conversation, let's start the DICE conversation.
All right.
Let's start off, Greg or Ryan, please tell us, everyone, what is DICE?
DICE is basically this summit for game developers and publishers. One of the things that happens is they have kind of their own Game of the Year awards. They have an organization they call the Academy, which picks Half-Life 2 to win all these major awards this year, basically. But other than that, it's 2 days worth of these kind of conferences. They're about like 45 minutes long, and it's key people in the industry getting up there and talking to their peers just about the issues that developers and publishers are facing these days. And overall, I think people understand that there's a lot of excitement and energy right now with new platforms coming out and advances in technology, but at the same time it's real risky business and high stakes, a lot of success and failure that's possible on all fronts. So people are kind of trying to brace for the coming months.
So basically, could you say it's like a high-profile series of workshops for the big shots in the gaming industry? Would you say that, where they can all come together and make sure everyone's working together?
That I might put it that way if I was writing the website.
Actually, we actually have a clip that has Ted Price, who's the president of DICE, and he actually does a real good job explaining it too. So go ahead and roll the clip if we can go to that right now.
This is our third DICE, and I'm speaking as a board member of the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences. And it's been our best attendance ever. I think we have an amazing lineup of speakers. Having seen Stan Lee this morning was fantastic, very entertaining guy. Seeing Mark Ecko, a famous clothing designer with a $750 million industry. Guy's like 28 years old, right? Wow. He has some really, both of those guys, even though they're not in the industry, has some really good advice to give people like me, like the other Insomniacs that were here, like all the other game designers that are attending DICE, in terms of thinking a little bit differently, paying attention to our market, finding out what the people out there really want from games. We all, as game designers, tend to live in a kind of a little box, and we don't pay as much attention as we should to what's going on out there. And I think a lot of the speakers at this year's DICE are reminding us to keep our eyes open. Think ahead to what consumers are thinking about now, what they're going to be thinking about in 2 years, so that we can better design our games. DICE is also a fantastic opportunity to talk to the people that we all know within the industry. There are only 450 people attending DICE, so you really do get this very exclusive group of folks who have known each other for a long time and who can actually exchange ideas in a pretty neutral setting. I mean, it always fascinates me that DICE is not about competition. It's not about Sony versus Microsoft. It's not about developer A versus developer B. We're actually all here to learn things, and I'm always stunned by the level of openness that I hear in the conversations between competitors. And that's what's really cool about this conference. And I hope that we can continue to do this every year and maintain the kind of exclusive feel and bring back the same caliber of speakers that we've had over the last 3 years.
And we'd like to thank Ted Price for sitting down with our cameras. He's, of course, if you don't know, the president of Insomniac Games, creators of the Ratchet & Clank series.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot, Ted. Now, he's saying a lot of honest conversation going on at DICE, a lot of education going on. What did you guys learn at DICE, Greg?
Well, it's kind of what I was saying before. I guess it's like, I think everyone in the industry knows that there are going to have to be some serious changes if everyone's going to kind of make it through all this stuff in one piece. I think the successes that the industry has experienced, you hear about how the game industry makes more money than the Hollywood box office now. It's like everyone is sort of overwhelmed by that. The people in the business are kind of afraid of what that means, and because they're going to have to figure out how to keep growing. Because when you're successful, you're expected to continue building on that success. A lot of the major players in the industry are public companies, so their shareholders are like, all right, so you're going to double your profits next year, right? And they're like, okay, we'll try to make a lot more games and sell a lot more copies. But the reality of the situation is tough. People know that there are markets that they still just haven't cracked at all. Like, women still don't play games for the most part, stuff like that. So it's these people realizing that they, at some level, even though they're competing in everyday life, they have to work together to solve some common problems. It's kind of like like one of those G.I. Joe episodes you get really excited about.
I remember one of the news stories I saw. GameSpot News, by the way, has a ton of great stories on DICE, so check all those out. I think was it Seamus Blackley? He was running something that was just pretty much telling people how to build a business model on how to fund a game like they do movies, and that seems like, to someone like me, you just figure all these big companies, they always know what they're doing on spreading the wealth out and getting games made, but there's still stuff everybody seems like they can learn.
There's no magic bullet. I mean, you had guys up there like Tim Schafer, the designer of Grim Fandango and Full Throttle and all these great games, and he gave this really great talk about basically how to be creative, like how to how to survive being a creative type in this industry that prefers sequels and things like that. But when faced with the tough questions, like how do you kind of make profit while while trying to consistently be creative. There's no easy answer to that. So, I mean, as a result, we have the industry that we're in where you do see a lot of sequels and, like, what is it, 88 out of the top 100 best-selling games of last year were, like, all based on existing franchises. You get statistics like that, but everyone is still, the spirit is still one of innovation. Everyone wants to make really original games. They just can't, so they're trying to break free from the shackles.
Did he say when Psychonauts was coming out?
He didn't mention that, but apparently that game is coming along. Apparently it's playable and
anytime a game can come out with a cool trailer, I feel like they have to release the game within the next year because that cool trailer has me so psyched for it. Now, Ryan,
yes, sir.
Why don't you tell us about the man who gave the opening address, Mark Echo?
Mark Echo, and just to answer some of the questions I bet you people have at home is like, why aren't they seeing this stuff? One of the things, last year we got to at least bring some of the highlights, Jason Rubin being one of them.
Right.
This year they're very guarded about that atmosphere there. They're very protective of having it be totally open, so all those guys can share ideas back and forth. So this year they're a little bit more closed in terms of what the press could do. So one of the things we couldn't do is actually film those events. But what we were able to do is put people like Mark Echo aside from off out of the DICE actual floor and have them sit in a room and talk to us on camera. Mark did that. He did that for an hour, actually, and yeah, totally. I mean, it was amazing. You can see that we have, I think about 20 minutes of that up already. We actually have another cut that we haven't shown yet queued up, and we're going to have the rest of that tomorrow. But it was. I mean, Greg will tell you, it was an amazing. It was cool. I mean, it's cool because he's this guy that's our age. He's 28 years old. He's got $750 million, if not more, based on the Echo Unlimited stuff, his magazine. He's a smart guy. He knows what's going on. And, like Greg was just saying, people that want to get into the game business and change it, make it better, that's somebody, at least, the way he sounds, he's super passionate about what he's doing and super excited about the game. So, but I'll let you guys check out the clip. So let's go ahead and roll it.
Well, for the record, PS2 for now. So I'm working on that. Okay, that's another thing that the consumer doesn't understand, the business model. Okay, but I would love to. We are aggressively working on every platform. There's plans, in line for everything from Xbox to it's unofficial. I don't want to my media plan, but we do have plans to aggressively now, especially now that we've got great a lot of the levels are built. A lot of the internal marketing people are getting to visualize it. Got a financial plan together. Want to get aggressive about it. So, as a consumer, I favor Xbox. Just because of the hard drive and what it does and what it can do visually. I love my PS2. I think we've done an amazing job making an Xbox caliber game on PS2. The consumer will be the judge of that. But I think they're going to be impressed. I hope to stay. I mean, it's up to the consumer. I don't want to go. You have to really kick my out. You have to really come with the boot and the bat and tell me to get the out of the party because I'm really trying to stay right now. I'm trying to stay, creep up your ass, be in your sheets. I'm not trying to go anywhere. You've heard me talk. What do you want from me? What do you want? I can't worry about you. You're gonna hate on me regardless of what I do. So maybe put that hate down for a minute, just for a minute, and hold the controller. Is the game good or not? Because if it's not good, hate on me. Fair. You can play nice though. But to hate on me on some because I am a successful businessman, and managed to have a successful brand. Look, there's no flying rhinos in the game. You don't oh my God, level 7, get a coupon at the local demo. Get to buy more sweatshirts. No, we're not doing that. But it is intrinsically woven to my brand. My brand is who I am. I haven't known anything but my business since I'm 13 years old. So I can't separate the two. This is Mark Echo. You're watching GameSpot Live. Big up.
Thanks, Mark. What's going on? Now, Greg, you had a great journal entry about Mark Echo, and that on the surface, you hear about his game, and it sounds like it's going to be a little too street for its own good, and just this is something that someone who tries to stay a little bit off mainstream, would not like. Right. But then you hear him say things like this, and all of a sudden, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about. Really cool. Yeah,
I mean, actually, as someone in our forums put it really well, he said, if that game doesn't succeed, it's not going to be for lack of enthusiasm by Mark Echo, because You could tell. I think his sincerity comes off, very clearly. He's just someone who wants to help make a good game. He's not trying to actually. And if you want to read off that question,
sure. What was
we've got
the
a pretty
question?
good one about what the game is attempting to do.
Oh yeah, I lost it. All right, cool. Jeremy Weiderman, Hamilton, Ontario. In what ways is the new game from Mark Echo going to innovate the gaming industry? What types of gameplay mechanics can we expect?
Yeah. So look, it's not necessarily from what I understand, it's not trying to be Fable. It's not going to be the greatest RPG ever made. It's like the guy's trying to make a really cool action game, and like the way he explains it, it's about it's about hitting up the city and just like scaling huge buildings and tagging them and escaping from the feds and stuff. I mean, it sounds cool. So it's going to have like fighting and stealth and stuff like that. But I think as anyone viewing knows, it's all about exexecution. So we'll see. I mean, all the guy wants to do is make a really good action game.
I really liked
that's
it.
Cool.
In one of the interviews that we ran the other day, he was saying how it's not a stealth game, but it's a sneaking game, and that like real graffiti artists know that you're supposed to run from the police and all this great stuff. And it'll be great to see how he's going to address all this stuff.
Yeah, we'll see.
Should be
Sounds
interesting at the
promising,
very least.
Definitely.
You have any good questions, Ryan?
I got a good question for you. I got a couple good ones.
We have a whole bunch of questions. Keep sending your questions in. As always, your GameSpot Complete. Remember, use the form on the page. If you don't see a form, sign up for GameSpot Complete. Do it now. Ryan, questions, please.
Since I'm sure this has to do with probably about a bazillion other questions we're getting in, James Johnson from Massachusetts wants to know, have they given a regular price for the PSP alone yet?
No. The answer is no, because they're only releasing the value pack, at least thus far. So what you get with the $250 value pack is, I guess it's all the same stuff as what you get in Japan, right? You get the 32 megabyte Duo. Do you get like the carrying strap
sleeve,
and
the case and the headphones with the remote
Right.
control and all that good stuff?
People say
extra
that
battery,
headphones
AC
suck.
adapter. Do they really?
I haven't tried it.
In all honesty, I didn't use the headphones. I used the remote, though. The remote's cool. So I used my own headphones.
But hey, you're
plug it
getting
in.
value, man. That's the important part.
Well, no, beyond that, it's like, most of those things, even Sony previously would have headphones like with their mini disc players that were connected to the remote, and that was the most frustrating thing in the world because they were not good headphones, but yet you wanted to use remote. So now PSP is good.
That's cool.
So yeah, the speculation that the system would release here for $150, that's incorrect. And for more thoughts on the PSP, stay tuned because we're going to have a little feature where GameSpot editors sound off on what they think, what this means about Sony's relationship to Nintendo and so forth. So that should be interesting.
That's great. All right, let's close out the PSP discussion. One more question, then. I don't think we know the answer to this one, but Colby in Santa Monica. I'm sure this is a question a lot of people want to know. Do you know how much UMD movies will cost?
I'm not sure.
Wait.
It seems crazy for them to be priced more than the equivalent DVD. It seems like it should be less expensive than that.
Then again, the PSP itself seems crazy in future technology. So
I guess you get to if you have Spider-Man 2 on the go, is that worth more to you than having it on your television? I don't know. I've seen it enough.
All right, well, let's get back to DICE.
Yes, sir.
Ryan, Mark Echo is not the only person on hand at DICE
correct.
that sat down with us. Who else did you get to talk to?
We got all kinds of people. Got a list right here. The one that's next up, and actually the one we got a clip queued up for, is Ken Lobb. He's my next favorite of all the people we got a chance to talk to. Ken Lobb, for those people that don't know, he's worked on tons of cool games. Actually, I was just told before he came on that he is credited as working on Super Punch-Out.
Really?
Yeah, and so Ken, I think the reason why I think a lot of people might know his name is that he's actually has a gun named after him in GoldenEye. The Claw, so it's like he's been tons of games. He's been with Nintendo for years. He's been at Microsoft for quite a few years now, and he really broke it down for us and told us what he thought the strengths and weaknesses for Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft are. So without further ado, let's take a clip at Ken Lobb.
I'm Ken Lobb. I'm the studio manager for Studio RX in Microsoft Game Studios. My studio is responsible for about half the publishing games from MGS. Okay, so Nintendo's strengths, I think, and it's potentially their biggest weakness, is that they have this phenomenal stable of IP. And one of the problems with that is that they've been making the same games over and over again. I mean, I'm looking forward to Zelda this year just like everybody else is, but at the same time, I'm a little nervous that it's going to be the same story I've played in Ocarina of Time or Minish Cap. They do such a great job around, here's a new play mechanic and let's build a game around it, but I'm a little more interested in some of the backstory, and it would be cool to find out what's going on behind Zelda. I also feel that maybe they're being stick-in-the-mud-ish over online. Again, as a gamer, why couldn't I play Mario Kart online? It's a natural. I don't understand. So it feels like rejecting what's obvious. As far as Sony is concerned, I think that their online model fails where Xbox Live succeeds in building a community. Interesting side story, my wife and daughter are addicted to playing World Champion Poker on Live. What's interesting about that, though, is that my daughter has been drawn into Rainbow Six, she's been drawn into Ghost Recon 2, she's been drawn into Halo 2. These are games that I don't know if she would have played, but she gets into a poker game with all these friends and, hey, we're going to go play this, why don't you come along and play with us? And I come home and she's playing Halo 2, I'm like, okay, are you having fun? Oh, this is great, I'm playing with... She names off these other users' names I won't use, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. You know, so she's been pulled across game by the community. And I think that that's something that Sony is lacking at the moment. Sony, from a first-party perspective, they've always been very strong at having good third-party relationships and good support from some of the third parties. But from a first-party perspective, their stable is kind of small. And you know, when I look at that compared to what we're doing, where we're aggressively pursuing, and we're working on, I don't know, 20, 30 games at a time now, and with all of them shooting pretty high, Sony tends to work on a smaller handful of games. And if I project into a world where all third parties were to make all games on all platforms, so much of the driving reasoning behind buying one platform or the other is going to be stuff like Live, and then the exclusives that have to come from first party. You know, in that area, Nintendo has the strength of the first party, but they're not going towards online. Sony has a small stable of very powerful first party, but maybe not enough. I think our strength is that that's what we're doing. Live again, I'm just going to talk in this sense as a gamer. It's what's making me play games virtually every night.
And thank you, Ken Law. Brian, that is another great interview, and that's just a portion of what's on the site, right? What else can people find on the site from DICE right now?
Aside from the other 13 minutes of Ken Law that we have up on the site, right now they can find, I believe we have an interview up right now with Phil Spencer, who is talking, if you go to the Halo 2 game space, you'll find it there. There's also a DICE page that you can find all this stuff on. Phil Spencer, he was kicking game about Halo, about Microsoft. He was talking all kinds of good stuff. We also got Chris Taylor, Dungeon Siege. He talks a little bit about Dungeon Siege 2, as well as the industry as a whole. Plus, we got our Ted Price. We got Homer over there cutting Ted Price right now. He's putting it up. Ted Price.
Homer better be running me questions right now. I don't know what you're talking about.
But Ted, you know, you saw the excerpt there where you talked about DICE. The other portion that we have going up on the site, which will be under the Ratchet and Clank game space. He talks about Ratchet and Clank, the industry as a whole, and all kinds of good stuff. So and we got more beyond that. We got our friend Shane Kim, who is the kind of like Mr. Xbox. He's going to tell you all about the Xbox and what they got going on and stuff.
And we also have our friend Ricardo Torres sitting next to me. Ricardo, what's going on, man?
Howdy, y'all.
How you doing? What games you brought with us today?
A bunch of stuff.
Like?
I like Yoshi Touch and Go, Star Fox Assault.
Very cool.
Fight Night for y'all.
Fight Night, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
I believe you're a big Fight Night fan, aren't you? I'm just taking a guess right here. Maybe you like this game, Fight Night.
I really like this game, Fight Night, round 2 especially.
Why don't you fire it up?
Can we do this?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Look, here's the controller right here.
Excellent.
All right, there you go.
All right, this is Fight Night round 2 for the GameCube, and the cool thing, like the only bummer thing, is like we were going to show Little Mac on here, but like it's the Super Punch Out. You'll see right here. It's like boom, here's the title screen, right? So you get the title screen, Fight Night round 2. Right down here, look at that. You see it right there. Super Punch Out. Selectable right from the menu, right from the get-go. You don't have to unlock it or nothing. Little Mac, however, you totally have to unlock. And we didn't get him unlocked quite yet, but I'm going to jump into Super Punch Out if you guys don't mind. And I am going to... And here's your Super Punch Out. So for all of you who didn't catch the story last time, Super Punch Out, of course, is boom. It's not unlockable. It's just one of the extras that's in the GameCube version of Fight Night Round 2. And the cool thing is, you know, it's like, for one, you don't have to unlock it, so there you go. 2, it's like, you know, Fight Night Round 2 is good enough, and then boom, you got Super Punch Out as well. Now the cool thing is...
Hey, this game's in color!
That is absolutely correct. All right, here we go. I'm gonna jump in. Do you guys mind if I get a little Super Punch Out on?
No, that's what we brought you on the show today, for no other reason, just to play Super Punch Out.
But yeah, of course, you know, here it is. If you remember playing the Super Nintendo version of this game, it appears to be in full, faithful recreation right on your GameCube. But I'll just get this like a couple times, and if you don't mind, Rich, I want to try to get some business on with the regular portion of the game and see if I can't get you to fight a couple rounds.
Oh, you want me to try playing?
All
right, well, first let's keep showing some Punch Out right here while our amazing wizards get us some color on the game.
Because it's a retro game, but it's not like a kid.
Now, let me be honest, Ryan. When I played games named Punch Out, I played Mike Tyson.
Yes, sir.
But Super Punch Out looks pretty faithful to the
Mike Tyson Punch Out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. You know, the one thing about Super Punch Out that was different was like Punch Out, Super Punch Out, or Punch Out if you bought it later after Mike Tyson had lost and not been everybody's favorite boxing son.
Right.
If you, I can't believe I blew that. But anyways, yeah, if you remember, it's like those games were totally, you were Little Mac. It was all about boxing. There was just guys that did different things, and it was cool. This one, pretty much, like you said, pretty much along the same lines. The only reason I don't think I like this one is quite as much as the original is like they had some weird stuff in this one. Like this dude comes out with a stick. He's like an old guy with a cane. He's like beating you with a cane. I'm a boxing purist, so it's like I want guys with gloves and But whatever. Super Punch Out was a great game. All kinds of fun stuff. But I am gonna jump out of this if you don't mind.
Sure, let's throw it down.
Thank you, sir.
Now, they even gave you a nice little Glass Jaw guy to start off with right there that made a little noise. I appreciate
totally.
that as well. Was it Glass Joe? Glass Joe was the name of the first guy, right?
At least in the first game.
In the first game, yeah. This was Gabby J.
Yeah.
I think they're related.
Let's see if I can get this business on. So Fight Night Round 2. It's coming out March 1st for all the platforms. Of course, the difference between, you're seeing the difference in the GameCube version right here, right? You got your Super Punch Out, you got your Little Mac in there, but the difference, of course, there between the Xbox and PS2 and all that stuff is Xbox, PS2, they have the online portion of it. But if you want to get your Super Punch Out and your Little Mac on, and we're selecting our fighters right here. Who are you going to be? You're going to be...
who should I be?
Let's go ahead and... why don't you go... Yeah, be Muhammad Ali. Muhammad's good.
I don't think I'd do his memory well. But
really?
Okay,
I'll go a little lighter in weight. That way, I can make up the difference.
Okay.
Let's see.
Actually, no, I have to say one thing that I noticed when I was playing Super Punch Out, you had to use the
D-pad, that's correct.
The D-pad, right?
Yeah.
No analog stick on that.
That is no analog. I mean, they didn't have analog back then, or at least
They didn't, but I don't know if they're going to translate that. But I guess if you're going to remain faithful, you just got to give us the arrows. That's all you really need to play a good game anyway.
Absolutely.
Totally.
So yeah, we're going to load this up. We're going to get I picked Arturo Gatti, if you don't mind. He's a welterweight going up a heavyweight, so the power difference should be in your favor.
I'm going to be honest with you, my boxing knowledge, while I'm a huge sports fan, very minimal.
Oh, really?
I just watched that great Ken Burns documentary on Shaq Johnson. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
That was so good.
That was really, really good.
I don't know if I should saying that because I used to work for the company, but...
So I'll tell you, I learned something since the last on-the-spot of appearance of Fight Night Round 2, and that is we've got this business right here. So you see, like, the one thing I didn't learn when Kudo was telling us was this little meter down there, and you can see it's totally analog. See how I can make it go, just go a few. See that little on the left hand?
Mine's all the way up.
Yours is all the way up because you're not. See, I'm cocking my arm back. That's the haymaker action right there. See that?
Yep.
So if you pull it all the way back and then wham, hit you like
That's
that
not
with
cool.
it. No, I'm sorry. What's up? But you can totally make it so that. Yeah, you can totally make it so that it is like super powerful. Of course, Muhammad Ali against the welterweight Arturo Gatti is another story altogether.
I don't like you spotting me this though. I feel
really?
like something bad's about to
Let's
happen.
see if I can mix it up. The haymaker does really change it a whole lot. And now that you learn how to use it, once you learn how to use it, it truly does make it a lot more like boxing. Because in the original game, if you remember, all the punches are the same speed, same power. This one you get to mix it up, so you can throw some quick jabs, some quick rights, and then come in with the big bomb. And Muhammad Ali, you're doing pretty good. For somebody that doesn't know anything about boxing.
I'm just aiming at your face. That's all I'm doing. Pop, pop, pop. Float like a butterfly.
I'm gonna try carrying you. But yeah, that's the Fight Night Round 2 stuff for the GameCube.
Well, that's a good game.
Yeah.
And we got more GameCube stuff coming up. But right now, Ricardo, you've got a little game called Yoshi Touch and Go, fresh from Japan.
Well, it came out like last week.
Fresh from Japan.
It's fresh.
Sure. Why don't you tell us all about it?
So this is the game where you are looking out for Baby Mario by kind of directing him through a lot of perils, and you draw clouds on the screen with the stylus. So
That's adorable.
Well, that's what that's what Baby Mario's all about.
I think Jim's got a shot of it back here. So you're gonna get this action on. This is like so this is just came out in Japan then.
Yes.
And when are they saying it's gonna come out here in the States?
I believe it's next month.
Next month. So what are you doing here? What do you got going on?
So you got Baby Mario falling down from the sky.
Up on the top screen there.
Yes. And
Okay.
we all know falling babies is not really a good thing.
So you're gonna try to help him out?
You try to help him out by drawing little clouds on the lower screen.
So it looks like there's a little bit of delay between the action on the top and the bottom screen, right?
Yeah, because you have this space for him to fall.
Now, can you just make like a little platform for him to land on and call it a day?
You could, but he keeps walking.
I gotcha. Oh yeah, look at that. So is this pretty much the action on every level in this game?
Well, the whole thing is there's like sky parts and then there's land parts, because the whole point is to get him to get safely to the ground where Yoshi can pick him up and kind of help him on his journey. Because if you guys remember Super Mario World Yoshi's Island, this was the Baby Mario that was on Yoshi's back.
Yeah.
So you gotta look out for them that way. So there's a land portion to it as well. The really cool thing is you can, go around enemies. If you draw around them, you'll get like this red bubble that he can collect. Because the whole point, obviously, is to collect coins. Because even when he was a baby, Mario was all about coins. And one of the nice touches of the game is how it uses pretty much all the stuff the DS can do, but in kind of a unique way. There's a multiplayer mode where you can kind of download the game for friends, but if you put a lot of clouds on screen like that, if you blow in the microphone, you can get them out of the way.
That's cool.
Right on.
I'm gonna toss a softball to you right here. This is from Kashern and Milford, Connecticut. Is Yoshi Touch and Go just a remake of Yoshi's Island with touchscreen elements, or is it a completely new game? I think I know the answer to this question.
Could be new, yeah.
It's a completely new game?
Yeah.
I got a question for you while he's got the Yoshi over there.
Sure.
This is from Marshall and Travis. Totally nothing to do with Yoshi, by the way.
Oh,
but Marshall and Travis really want to know: do you really think the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl?
Obviously.
All right, just checking.
I've been thinking that all year. I thought all last year. I thought all year before. I thought all year before. I thought all the year before. I mean, even when it was unrealistic. Yeah, Patriots won the Super Bowl.
Excellent.
I'd say they got at least a 50-50 shot. Being one of two teams in the Super Bowl.
Now the action that you got on here with the Yoshi. How many levels strong is this?
This is quite a few. We've been messing around with it, but the tricky part is you want to get like high scores, and dang, this one's kind of tough because Yoshi doesn't do too good if he gets hit by an enemy. So go ahead.
So when can we expect to see more on the side of the Yoshi Touch and Go?
Well, we already got a hands-on of it up, and then as soon as we unlock some other levels, we're going to be putting up some more footage, too.
Fantastic.
Very cool. Thanks a lot, Ricardo.
No problem.
You're going to stick around with us a little bit, right?
Obviously.
Sure thing.
Well, let's move on to the next Nintendo demo we have on hand. Ryan,
right.
If you want to pick up the controller, Muhammad Ali might get a little revenge right now.
Alrighty.
We're looking at Mortal Kombat Deception on the GameCube.
All right, now there's a little special sauce in here, too, right?
There's definitely a little special sauce in here. Continuing the Nintendo trend of getting a cool little extra put in a game like NBA Street and Fight Night, Mortal Kombat Deception, although it does not have online play, it does have Goro and Shao Kahn right off the bat, selectable characters.
I don't have to unlock it. I don't have to do any business.
You don't have to do it. I don't have to do it either. It's,
Awesome.
it's great. Yeah, you want.
Yeah, totally.
All right, cool. Let's throw it out. Let's throw it out.
The only question is, who are you going to be? Are you going to be the Goro? Or
I'll let you pick since I got to be Muhammad Ali.
All right, I'm
not saying. All right, good. I want to be Goro.
All right, cool.
All right, cool. So there's Goro right there. Then look, there's more Kombat Deception. Okay.
I think
You have the wrong controller.
We got two cubes up there.
There
with
you
a
go.
bunch of controllers. There we
Cool.
go.
Yeah, there you go.
There's my Shao Kahn.
Let's throw it down. Now, I'm not going to say I have an unfair advantage because I have 4 arms or something, but...
Whatever, dude. My Shao Kahn, he's going to spit out all kinds of insults your way and make you,
That's fine. My Mortal Kombat skills are, Jeff, try giving me a quick tutorial before we start playing.
Also, you got a little...
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I'm not a wise student in the ways of fighting game, unlike Brian Eckberg.
So, like...
Why you got to start?
Like, all I know is, like, man, they look good.
They do.
They look really good. All right, so check this out. I want you to do the grab. Did he tell you how to do the grab?
No.
He didn't tell you how to do the grab.
Is it like this? Is it like that?
Oh, no. I'm going to hit you with my big ass hammer, though.
Shao Kahn's rocking a smaller helmet.
I'm gonna get my Dragon Fangs on.
Yeah, and he didn't. Yeah, it used to be like that full-blown, like skull-looking thing, right?
It was, yeah.
See,
that was
See,
really
I can't
90s.
fight. Oh, I got back up. Get back up, son.
Yeah, you got the round 2 still to go.
For
But
a
yeah, so
moment.
these are only exclusive to the GameCube version?
Only
is that right?
exclusive to the GameCube version.
Wow.
Very cool. Very nice of the people at Midway to hook us up like that.
No doubt. And so, like, when is this hitting?
Ricardo?
This is hitting, couple months.
Very is it March or?
You pulled off that round,
pretty
by the way.
close.
I wasn't even trying. That's
I know.
the secret. I should just stop. Oh,
Yes,
then you gotta bust out that.
I gotta
like that,
pull out
huh?
the hammer
Okay.
again. Where is my? I want to get my. Oh, there we go. Now you're in trouble, man. Oh!
I don't know where that came from.
It's like I feel bad because I gotta get my moral skills back up to par. I haven't actually played with
What have you been playing? What's your excuse?
Mercenaries.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Oh, dude, this is coming. Oh no!
I'll let you have that. What
that
happened?
was nice.
That was good.
That was so nice. I
was
can't
good
believe I
match,
won
man.
that. That was good. Thanks a
You
lot.
did.
I think I had a Mortal Kombat question here somewhere. Now
While you look for that question, can I invite a bunch of people to a party?
you want to do that already?
I do. I'll put the word out.
Okay,
I'll
well,
put the word out.
are you sure? Go ahead. Put it
I'm
right
dying.
now.
I've been dying to
Fine,
do it.
just do it.
Show, but I want to do it. But yeah. So for you, before we go on to the next game, I wanted to let everybody know that on February 26th, there's going to be a party. And it was funny because like when they first were asking about the party, they was like, do we want to come and cover this thing? It's for the Scion. We have a Scion. If you guys haven't seen it, we got this cool, pimped out GameSpot Scion with a plasma screen in the back, all kinds of fun stuff, right? So anybody's got a really cool Scion, they were inviting to come to this thing, and I was like, yeah, I'll go, but I really want to bring everybody from GameSpot with me.
You mean like the people that work here?
Those people as well as the people that are watching.
Oh, you mean everybody?
Everybody.
From GameSpot.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, everybody. You.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool.
So February 26th, there's going to be a party. It's going to be put on by the folks at Toyota San. We're going to be there. There's going to be a game tournament. There's going to be all kinds of fun stuff. There's going to be DJs. And check this out. I'm breaking news here, I think. Mixmaster Mike is going to be the featured DJ.
Nobody
and he's going to
can do it like Mixmaster.
Exactly.
Come on.
It's going to be it's going to be a Saturday night, February 26th, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m.
At the Hangar 1 Vodka Distillery on the Alameda Naval Base. There's
right.
a webpage you can go to, www.scion.com/expresscion or
right.
EXPRESCION. Check it out. How many people get in, Ryan?
Well, that's the cool thing. It's like right now, 2,000 people are invited to the party. They've already got, I think they said somewhere in the neighborhood, I get written down here, 700 already registered. So if you want to go, all you have to do is get yourself there. But before you do that, make sure you register on the website. They're going to take up to 2,000 people. So if you're serious about coming, don't wait. Go to the website now. Register yourself. Come join us at the party. It's going to be cool.
It'd also help if you're in the San Francisco area
Yes,
as well.
'cause
Or
Alameda,
the Bay
yeah.
Area. Alameda is over on the East Bay.
That's right.
A little south of Oakland.
That's cool.
Very cool. Now, are we good? Move
Yes,
on?
yeah, sorry.
One more demo. Ricardo, what is the last game you brought for us as part of this Nintendo Mania?
Star Fox Assault.
Very cool. Now, what is Star Fox Assault all about?
It is the Star Fox game that is developed by Namco, kind of as a return to its roots. Because the last Star Fox game we got was Star Fox Adventures, kind of like an RPG thing. This is more return to his fly in space, shoot stuff up, get on land, shoot stuff up.
I'm way into flying in space, shooting stuff.
Yeah.
So this is the beginning level, and
It's a Trump.
if you know your Star Fox, it should be pretty familiar. You're flying your good old R-wing, you do little spins.
Slippy the Frog.
Slippy is once again in trouble.
And, oh man, that looks really good!
Because, for having a trained commando unit of talking animals, they tend to be pretty needy. And so they be asking for help a lot.
Here's a trivia question, or here's a trivia answer for a trivia question yet to be asked.
Okay.
I actually did a commercial with this game.
Did you really?
Way back in the day, there was this thing called the Turbo Test 360. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was like it was like the big thing that was like, it was like no numb thumb anymore. It was like it had a big picture of like a thumb with a big X through it.
I think I remember that picture.
All the print ads,
yeah.
And so like they had this television commercial, and so they needed somebody really good at games to like get really big high scores and stuff like that. And it's funny because they had this idea that I was going to come in there and I was going to play Star Fox all day and get to the end and like unlock a billion points or whatever. But whatever. I brought a Game Shark and I was like, check this out. This is how you, or actually a Game Genie, if they called them at the time.
Right.
And I was like, this is how you do it. And then they kind of looked at me like, well, anybody could have done that. But whatever. But yeah, so you got some land battle action in here as well?
Yes, you do. You actually have some on-foot missions where you can, get some vehicles, GTA style. No. You got the tank, if you all remember the tank from the previous
The one
stuff.
that flipped over, like,
Yep.
I don't know.
You little flippy tank and stuff.
So now tell me, what is there's some weird distribution thing with this, isn't there?
It's crazy. It's been a lot of fun for all of us, let me tell you. This game is coming out in about 2 weeks.
But you can go and play it now, right?
You can get it now.
Wow.
You can rent it at Blockbuster or Hollywood Video.
Exclusively for 2 weeks.
Yep.
And then if you wanted to buy it, then after that you could go pick it up.
Wait for it to actually be in the store.
I gotcha.
That's usually good.
But don't be afraid to support your local video store.
Yeah.
Says the guy who worked for one for 5 years.
I think that's the message, yes.
Right on.
Matthew from College Station, Texas wants to know, Ricardo, in Star Fox Assault, what vehicles are going to be present?
Well, you've got your R-Wing. You've got your... I'm blanking on the name of that tank, but...
Let me ask you this question while you're...
R-Tank.
Well, I'm trying not to get shot. Sure,
Yeah.
go ahead. 'Cause
Nightbird DS from Lachute, Canada. He wants to ask, is there any land-based multiplayer in this?
There is. There is. A multiplayer component is kind of like one of the big things that Nintendo was touting for the game. Because you'll be able to play with, wait for it, up to 4 other friends.
Excellent.
And you can play as the different characters. Like, if you got folks that have hardcore favorites.
The Landmaster.
The Landmaster tank.
There you
yes.
go.
Landmaster.
You got any questions over there for
I got one. Going back to Mortal Kombat, I don't think I asked this one yet. Colby from Santa Monica wants to know, what are the main differences between the GameCube version of Mortal Kombat Deception and the Xbox and PlayStation 2 releases?
Well, obvious one is no online. And you have 2 original characters
Okay.
that are exclusive to the Cube or on Shao Kahn.
Very cool. So no online and 2 original characters. That sounds like enough for me.
Yeah, totally.
It's a good trade-off.
Yeah.
You actually got a little cinematic happening here, huh?
Yeah.
These guys are like Star Foxing it up through the space, a little transfer
Peppy
action.
the Rabbit,
They're landing.
Falco the Bird, Slippy the Frog,
Yes.
and then Fox the Fox.
And don't forget, there's a new face in this. Her name's Crystal. Y'all are going to remember her from Star Fox Adventures.
I think she's in the header right now for the show, actually.
Possibly so.
Yeah.
And it's real pretty, as you can see.
Very cool.
Now, speaking of pretty,
Yeah.
if we could segue nicely into our GameSpotting live action.
Yeah.
You did some pretty, actually the whole GameSpot Live crew did some pretty amazing things, right?
Actually, yeah, we could say GameSpotting Live made its triumphant return yesterday to the site. October 27th, 2003, I do believe was the last time that GameSpotting Live happened. We showed you a clip last week on the show of Bob's GameSpotting Live and his love for Let's Go Bowling. I just ruined it for you, by the way, in case you haven't watched it yet. He loves Let's Go Bowling. You should check it out. But there were 6 other video pieces that were all pretty good. We've had a really great response for them. We've had a really weird response for a couple of them.
Really?
But yeah, you know, there's all right. I'll say it. There's fan fiction time trotter stuff out there.
See, I was gonna wait until after.
No, I'm going to say it right now. Before
wait.
we show the clip, I want to say it right now. Fan fiction for time trotters has already been created. It's been out on our site for less than 24 hours.
Can we get
and there's already fan fiction for it.
I need a shot of this. I brought this with me. Yes, this time trotters thing has not been up for what? You said it.
It went up like at 6 o'clock Pacific time last night.
Yeah, this thing, so if you can see it, if you get a little focus action
There you
there,
go.
it says the unofficial Time Trotters page. This guy loved your little thing so much that he made this. He's got like an episode guide. He created the other 18 and so episodes that you...
Sure. As I told I sat down and talked with Jeff and Ryan Davis about this, and it's like, you know what, that happened, my career as being part of the internet media is done. Once that happened, I have reached my peak, I'm done. I enjoyed being here, thanks a lot, but now I'm going to ride off to the sunset.
So can we take a look at some of the stuff we're talking about?
Sure, let's run a clip for right now for GameSpotting Live for the other 6 segments, not the one we showed you last week, but the other 6. Check it out.
Here on location at the GameSpot offices. I'm Greg Kasavin, and my colleagues and I produce all the content you read on the website, as well as these video segments you love to watch. You know, the most frequently asked questions we get here have to do with our reviews. How do you guys review so many games so quickly? What does tilt mean? How come Cubivore got an 8 for graphics? And are you saying that Project Gotham Racing 2 looks no better than an N64 game? Did the reviewer actually play the game?
Of course, these big windows aren't very good at keeping heat in. So in winter, it actually gets really cold in this room.
But fortunately, we had this nice little fireplace here in the family room, so we burn bad games to keep ourselves warm in these trying times.
I'm finally ready, Sensei. I'm ready to take on my arch nemesis.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, 17 hours a day in front of a monitor? Is this love?
X-Men! Yes. You know what? You used to be the king. But now I'm the king of all fighters. And I'm here to challenge you to Mortal Kombat until one of us emerges from this street fight dead or alive. We're gonna test the caliber of your soul, buddy. Tekken! Luis, no! Luis! It's Luis, la cucaracha! No!
Time Trotters, an elite video game task force charged with keeping our classic games safe from whatever nefarious evil seeks to destroy them. Hop back in time with the team before it's too late.
Watch out for the Time Trotters. Yeah, they'll get you.
And that is GameSpotting Live. That's just a little taste. We got 7 great videos. Everyone should check out all of them. And then head to the community, the forums, and hit the new GameSpot special features page, thread, board, whatever, and tell us what you thought, because it was a lot of fun to make. We put a lot of work into it, and we love all the feedback we can get for it, even if it's really creepy, amazing fan fiction.
Yes.
Yeah, we got any questions, Ryan?
Yes, I got this one from Taylor. He is coming to us from Boxborough. He wants to know, is there anywhere they can watch the speeches and stuff from the DICE Summit? If you were a member of the Academy, they would have something for you, but unfortunately not. That's that's why it's pretty exclusive insider. They didn't even let us bring our cameras in there, so no. That is to answer your question.
That's cool. The Crazy Jim right here. Wait till you hear where he's from.
Okay.
You remember this town. Speaking of Old Bridge, New Jersey.
No,
Old Bridge, New Jersey. That's a classic GameSpot reference right there. Hey guys, I loved your 2005 debut of GameSpotting Live. Are you guys planning on updating this weekly or monthly? Is it once per year deal? I'm going to be honest with you, GameSpotting Live, it was a lot of work. As you can tell, we hadn't done it in a year, and we hadn't done it in 14 months or so. It's going to be a while probably until we do the next one. It's definitely not going to be a weekly thing.
The one thing, I was inspired last night when I was watching all that stuff. I have to tell you, I've got like 4 ideas down on paper that I can make happen now.
Well, we'll see. Well, us crazy people over here at GameSpot are always thinking, so it's basically whenever we feel like we have enough great stuff to put up there, we'll do it. So
I got some
tuned.
great stuff here from Tim Tibbetts in Australia. There's actually a question that I could ask you if you don't mind. Do you feel that due to the cost of games these days, it's going to be virtually impossible for independent game companies to make original gaming titles, because they don't have the marketing muscle or larger publishers like EA behind them? Does this trouble you at all?
It's going to be different. I mean, the industry's changing, right?
Right.
I mean, if you look back to what it was when we were playing, anybody could make anything, sometimes in like their own bedroom, but now it's a little hard, but it's not impossible. I mean, you look at people like the Behemoth.
Right, Alien Hominid.
They made Alien Hominid. You need to find big publishers that are willing to take chances on the little guys. And the thing is people are always going to be hungry for something new and something different. And, eventually the big publishers will recognize that and they will support the little companies. So it's going to be the little guy's chance again. It's just going to be a little bit, I think.
Very cool. I have a question here from Chris Castronovo in Greenfield, Wisconsin. He says he already owns both a Nintendo and a PSP, and he loves both systems, but he can't get over the fact that there are so many PSP launch titles coming out, but the DS doesn't have very, very many games. Where are all the good DS games, and why are they waiting so long to release them?
Well, well, here's the thing. Nintendo didn't have an official presence at the DICE Summit, but there were some friendly folks there that we talked to, and Nintendo always tends to be focused on the second part of the year.
That's true.
And they're making sure to bring out some cool stuff. I mean, Yoshi Touch and Go is coming. You got WarioWare Touched is coming up, and they've got this really cool puzzle game that there hasn't been too much talk of called Polarian. We have some footage of it up on the site. They've got some tiny things coming, but you're going to see a lot of really cool stuff at E3.
When does Meteos come out?
Meteos is coming out. The release date for that changed because Miz and everybody wants more time.
I got you.
So they can take it. Right? Yeah, it's going to be real good.
I got a question here. This comes from Ray Daly from New Zealand. He heard somewhere soon after the PSP was announced, maybe mid-2004, that you'll be able to hook your PSP to a TV or something related to watch it on a big screen, but I haven't heard anything since. What is the news on that? Thanks a lot.
I haven't heard anything. I think it's going to be a challenge because there's no real video out on it. But I'm pretty sure, well, fans are like, somebody will MacGyver something real soon.
Speaking of MacGyver stuff, the one interesting thing that's related to TV for the PSP that we did see was that picture of that crazy thing that fit into the what do you call it, the memory the memory duo stick, memory stick duo pro?
Breath, yeah.
Slot. Remember, it had like a little antennas. It was literally like a little TV tuner for it. So there's one crazy thing. You can watch your
There's gonna
TV.
be so much crazy.
There's gonna be all kinds of.
All right, James Conner, Milford, Connecticut. With the announcement that the first 1 million PSPs to ship in the US will have a Spider-Man 2 UMD, does this mean that we can expect a much bigger availability in the States at launch than Japan had? I'll say yes.
Yes.
Sure.
All right, yeah. Yes.
I got one more for you. This is
cool.
from Nathan in Calgary, Alberta. Nathan wants to know, since Mark Echo's content under pressure focused on vandalism, do you think it will be swamped with Contra-Free when it's released, as other games that focus on illegal activities have been in the past?
I mean, especially when you're dealing with something that's kind of cutting edge and sort of urban that isn't very mainstream, everybody's going to be having some issues. But the cool thing is I mean, that's what good art is,
Yeah. think so.
Cool. Sweet. Let's give some stuff away.
All right, sure.
Yeah, definitely. By the way, as I said earlier, we got a DS here, 3 games going with it, 3 copies of Resident Evil 4, 3 copies of Star Fox Assault. We're going to have 7 very lucky winners
No
today.
doubt. That's going to be all kinds of stuff.
However, we already have some other very lucky winners who haven't gotten their due right here on the show. 2 weeks ago, we gave away some Mercenaries copies, and I forgot to announce the winners of it. So do I now. So for the PlayStation 2 copies of Mercenaries, we gave away courtesy of the fine people of LucasArts, Marquez Stewart of Knoxville, Tennessee, Thomas Brown of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Bradford Ferguson of Chicago, Illinois. Congratulations. Your PS2 copies of Mercenaries are on the way. And for the Xbox, Anthony Jolly of Upper Marlboro, Maryland, Pete Vellucci Jr. of East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, and Todd Willie of Newtown, Connecticut. You guys all want Xbox copies of Mercenaries. That's great.
You do so good with the names and everything.
Oh, I got typed in so I could read
Okay,
it.
right.
Also, we had, you say that now, wait till I get to this. We had 6 collector's edition copies of World of Warcraft that we gave away. We kind of asked a tricky question. The question was, what server was Brian playing on? And I wanted correct spelling.
All right.
Now, the server was Ner'zhul, and the correct spelling is NER''ZHUL.
Some people got that, right?
We got like 250 entries within the first 2 minutes of asking that question, and not too many people to spell it right. And towards the end, you saw there were some people who were very impressive and got the spelling right off, and those 6 people won copies of World of Warcraft Collector's
Tell me who
Edition.
they are,
All right,
please.
ready for this? All right. I'm sorry, I'm going to pronounce your name wrong. All right, Raj Vaidaraj of Toronto, Ontario. You won the first one. Congratulations. All right. Chris Steger of Pulaski, New York. Jeremy Studzinski of Waukesha, Wisconsin. Miles Jung of Talmadge, Ohio. Alex Verhoeven of Nashville, Tennessee. And Franklin Weber of Seattle, Washington. Thank you, Franklin, for having a name I knew I pronounced correctly. All 6 of you won yourselves copies of World of Warcraft Collector's Edition. Look for those to hit in the mail. I'd say get to your place within the next 4 to 6 weeks, hopefully.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
All right, on. So that's we got some more stuff to give away, believe it or not, right?
We do. Grab it. What we got here?
I got 3 copies of Resident Evil 4, if I can move into your frame over there.
Cool. Give them away.
Boom. All right, we got 3 copies of Resident Evil 4.
Yes.
You're a big fan of Resident Evil 4, aren't you? Mm-hmm. We just talked. I guess there's a that's I can ask all kinds of crazy questions about this game. I guess the one thing I'll ask is, I'm going to ask the first 3 people that can tell me. I guess that's no, because you already played the game, so I'm not going to ask that question.
Okay.
Sorry. I was going to ask tell me all the unlockable characters in Resident Evil 4.
No.
No, I'm not going to do that. At least tell me. Are they zombies in Resident Evil 4? Yes or no?
With your name and full mailing address.
That is correct.
Name, full mailing address. Are they zombies? Yes or no? Send it in. First 3 people to answer correctly won yourself a copy of Resident Evil 4.
That is correct.
I'm going to give away 3 copies of Star Fox Assault right now.
Fantastic.
And my question is, who is cooler? Falco the Bird, Slippy the Frog, or Peppy the Rabbit? Which one's cooler? Answer that question correctly. First 3 people won themselves a GameCube copy of Star Fox Assault, courtesy of the great people at Nintendo.
That's some serious business.
Now.
Yes, sir.
One last prize to give away.
All right.
A brand new, never opened Nintendo DS, along with 3 games. What games, Ricardo?
Mr. Driller, Drill Spirits, really awesome puzzle game. Feel the Magic, a really cool weird game from Sega, and Super Mario 64 DS.
Yes, sir.
The good old classic with touch stuff.
Very cool. Now, do you have a trivia question you want to ask, or
a trivia question?
I can think of one if you.
Yeah.
All right. You want me to do it, or do you have a good one? 3 seconds.
How many stars were there to collect in the original Super Mario 64?
That is a great question.
Yeah. I know.
How many stars are there to collect in the original Super Mario 64? Send in your answer along with your full mailing address and your name, and the first person to do so correctly won themselves a DS and these 3 games here. That's great.
Yes.
I was just going to ask how many screens does a DS have. That was going to be my trivia question.
Good job.
Is that our whole show?
I think that's the show.
Do we have anything to brag about? Oh yeah, by the way, tomorrow, check it out. We got the GameSpot Sports Super Bowl simulation dropping tomorrow afternoon. If you want to know who is going to win the Super Bowl, at least according to the simulated world of sports, tune in.
You can't give us any hints or anything? Oh, okay.
There's your hit. But yeah, check that out. As Greg said, there's some great PSP reaction stuff to the price point coming up. Ricardo, what you got?
If you guys come back tomorrow, you will get to see some cool stuff from Capcom, because on top of DICE, we were also in Las Vegas for a press event they had, and they showed off some cool stuff.
And Ryan, you promised a whole bunch of DICE stuff?
That's correct. I got a whole bunch of DICE stuff, man. We're cutting it right now. Look for the DICE page. After the show, you'll see it. There are going to be tons of interviews. There's going to be all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah, look for that. Plus, don't forget the party. Come join us February 26th.
Scion.com/express Scion.
I'm gonna fill that out. Well, nothing but GameSpot people hanging out. And just
there are gonna be games there to play too, right?
That's right. I'm gonna try to get you to do a button mashing right there on the spot.
We'll see. That'll be cool. It's always a fun time here at GameSpot. All kinds of crazy stuff. GameSpotting Live. Check it out. All kinds of great stuff. We'll hang out here all weekend long. Thank you, Ricardo, for coming by. I'd like to thank Greg for coming by sooner. Ryan, thanks a lot for all the great dice coverage. You guys did a great job. To all the crew who do a great job here, and to all of you, thanks for watching. And we'll catch you next time right here on The Spot.